Looks like I'm living rent-free in your heads again, huh? I mean, if you're gonna spend your days obsessing over me, you might as well start calling me something respectable. Maybe Daddy Shizzy, or better yet, Papa Nut. Who's the grown-up here? Alright, it's me. Let's go. Call me Daddy, yeah, that's who I am. Running your mind's like a master plan. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, take your pick. I'm rolling in your thoughts while you still act sick. Call me Daddy, it's what you mean. Why you chase the crumbs and I take the lead? Living rent-free, that's my name. Go ahead, say it, put some respect on the name. Man, I'm too old, well here's a surprise. I'm the one with the brains while you're stuck with the lies. You act like you're experts, but here's the reality. I'm the one controlling your mental reality. So while you're out there trying to throw shade, I'm sipping coffee and you're feeling betrayed. You're mad, I got the spotlight, now it's my time. So why not call me Daddy or Papa with a rhyme? I'm the landlord and you're just the tenants, stuck in your headspace with no insight, no repentance. Call me Daddy, you know it's true. You'd be lost without me, stuck in the glue. Call me Daddy, I'm holding your mind while you're scrambling, trying to find what's behind. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, don't you see? You're living in my world now, I'm a VIP. Call me Daddy, just let it be. While you're trying to figure out your own identity. Oh, I see you're confused, trying to get it right, spinning your wheels while I'm out of sight. You think you've got it figured, but you got it all wrong. I've been running your minds all along, but sure, keep pretending you don't care. Keep saying you're done, but I'm still in the air. You got no choice but to bow to my name. Daddy Shizzy is here to own the game. You say you don't watch, but you're obsessed. Every word I say puts you to the test. Call me Daddy, Papa Nut, you know you should, because I've been living rent-free, and you know it feels good. Yeah, keep it up, keep trying, but you'll be stuck with Daddy for life. I'm Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, owning your headspace, and there's no escape. Good luck with that.
You know, I like the dancing girls up there. They you know, they are quite enjoyable, but you know, I never know if it's going to end when it's supposed to. sometimes it acts really funky and it doesn't end when it's supposed to. Mo, as we were talking earlier, the all kinds of shit popped off. Like today, today was the craziest.
Everyone has checks notes. Supposedly not the end times.
Supposedly
However, I foresaw a manatee on dry land, and she were vengeful and evil.
My God, Mo, you are a prophet and a scholar.
Nostradamus.
Or not Nostradamus. There's actually a guy that I used to game with. He goes by the name of Nostradamus, and it's absolutely hilarious. I was like, oh, what a great name. No, I mean, here's the thing. You've got stuff popping off with Machado, J7, with the Fleas, with Lynette Preston. Is just like, oh my God, the amount of crazy that hit today. Apparently, Lynette got up in the middle of the deposition and left. And Randy had to say, no, that's not what you do. I mean, I'll dig more into it tomorrow morning, but
also soul patch.
Yes, gotta have the soul patch.
Can I be Colonel Sanders? Also, sexy Colonel Sanders soon.
Sexy
How
Colonel
offensive
Sanders?
would sexy Colonel Sanders be?
You know what? I think I can make a picture of that. let me
I love that my first adult thought is, how offensive would a sexy reverse drag queen Colonel Sanders be?
No, I'm not doing the drag queen thing, but I'm thinking.
Well, I mean, because I'm dressing up as a man, so it's a reverse drag queen, which I guess would be a drag king.
Drag king? Oh, I know what you're going. You're going for a female A female. Okay. Let's see. We're going to go to, because there's a better place to do this. All right. What I want to do is I want to make a sexy female. No, um, Sanders female
How do you get up
with
and just leave?
they do that with the beard and in a I'm thinking white sundress. Yeah, the sundresses are sundresses are so
Yeah,
sexy.
they are. Forget Daisy Dukes, ladies. It's sundress season. You get yourself some spaghetti straps. It doesn't look, us big bosomed women, it doesn't matter if there's a little t-shirt under there. It's a dude thing. They love some dresses. It's a thing. Use
Um,
this for good.
no, none of these are working. I mean, some of
Do you
them
think
are.
this is why Skynet turned evil because of all the weird things that we put into ChatGPT? Because I'm suddenly realizing that could be plausible.
I mean, I'm not into Asian chicks, but this one might work.
Well, we can't see it, Shizzy, so
Well, I mean, there's
she's not doing anything to a chicken, is she? Or she's not
no,
in a
it's
bucket of chicken, is she?
I mean, she's just about a bucket of chicken. She doesn't have the upper lip beard. But
Oh, no, does she have the Austrian painter beard?
no.
She's
I
really hot,
mean
and then that goat thing.
I mean, that one's one of the better ones.
I kinda like it.
Yeah, I mean,
Pretty sure I went to high school with her.
yeah, she's got the blonde streak though, sort of.
I li very Ugh.
No. 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 I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah,
kick her
but
out of
that kinda
bed.
looks like Chef Boyardee. I mean, if I'm going to cross-dress as, food icons. What the Alright,
I
this is how
mean,
Skynet turns evil. I like it.
yeah, I mean, it's just like I mean,
I actually like that. Like, I dress up
like that one right there.
Yeah, that other one looks like a 12-year-old drew that.
That looks too manly.
It
Just
does.
it's the eyebrows just
What in the Cruella de Vil?
yeah, it looks more like Cruella de Vil. Let's see. I mean, most of them just look
Oh,
really bad, you know?
JKD Buck, we were discussing something and I found we have ADHD, so then we got on the idea of sexy Colonel Sanders. Um,
I
so
mean,
that's where we are right now.
that one I would just want to pull on her beard, you know?
Yeah.
She looks like she's been drinking milk. I
She does. It's the red lipstick.
I mean, she's got the
You
bucket
know,
on her.
she is the best one, but then there's that, like, puffball, that little puff no, that's the brawny guy. Ooh,
And that's that one I could see right there.
here's a gilf. Uh, I like it, it's the redhead.
Yeah, got the red hair.
So
Mo,
much
this is your new
great
Halloween costume.
I like it.
All right. Well,
I know 11 secret herbs and spices.
we'll save that image just for Mo.
You know Mr. Mo is gonna come in, as
And
he
he's gonna
always
see
does,
this.
take a long look, sigh, and then walk right back out.
Now, should we have her say something like "Eat my chicken" or something?
It's the show, and I helped.
All right, so we've got this one right here. Let's see. What we want to do is we want to see if we can do um a video here. Um, let's see.
Or
We want to
we
do.
could take the voice she did all this over a 10-piece chicken wing.
Ooh, can. Damn it! Why is it? Okay, 720. Oh, damn it! See, it wants me to update. I don't want to update. Let's see. We're doing a film here. 480, 6 seconds. And why is it not letting me type? God damn it. All right. Okay.
Or
Have
you could say
her
breast or thigh.
say she, she why is it not letting me type?
I you're asking the really
I,
wrongest person.
I don't know why it's not letting me do anything. I am so
Damn you, Elon. Shenanigans
okay.
are afoot. You must
Animate.
help.
There we go. This is the reference image. Why won't you let me do anything? Okay, I'm getting really pissed off.
We could always go to the subject that the stream's about.
Oh Jesus! I'll save this for later. Okay, guys. All right. We'll go back to the subject matter here. I don't know. She can stay with us.
Hello, Colonel S.
Hello, Colonel S. Oh my
Ma'am,
gosh!
we report to duty.
It's your stream. Well, never mind. Shizzy, be aware. This is never mind. It is your stream. Well, of course it's my stream. Here's the thing. So Mo, you want to give a little bit of a timeline for the folks? You said you
Yes.
brought that up.
So since I was a bit confused, and I was looking around and I read some of the DOJ reports, including, let's see, I went through the indictment and I'm a little bit or almost all the way through the detention affidavit. But around 2010, at the age of 13, is when Sandra joined the, Police Explorers program. Now, the program was supervised by Deputy Chief Robert Devine. Now, put a pin in that name because he is going to become important. Now, future officers Matthew Farwell and William Farwell later became Explorer instructors. Now, from 2011 to 2012, according to federal investigators, Matthew began cultivating a close relationship with Birchmore while she was in high school. Now, investigators do allege that the relationship crossed into, criminal lines under the age of consent. So the age of consent for Massachusetts is 16. So she was very young in high school. This was completely inappropriate and gross. Now, from 2012 to 2020, uh, again, federal investigators allege that Matthew maintained a secret sexual relationship with Birchmore. Internal investigations later found evidence that William Farwell also engaged in an inappropriate communications and encounters with Birchmore as an adult. It gets worse, y'all. So in late 2020, Birchmore becomes pregnant. Prosecutors at the federal level allege that Matthew Farwell believed he was the father. Now, December 2020, this is what time that Robert Devine kind of starts coming into this conversation. Now, later investigations will conclude that Devine communicated with Birchmore using the alias Marty Riggs. So remember that crazy chick that Devine was talking about how, I have to get a PTO? It was Birchmore. Now, uh Massachusetts Post Commission later found that Devine and Birchmore had met while on duty and engaged in an encounter during this period. Now, I believe she was 23 at that period of time. So gross, disgusting,
Mhm.
ugh, but not criminal unless there is, absolute misconduct or misuse of, your position, which I would definitely think could be possible. So then we move to February 1st through the 4th, where, it's alleged that Matthew Farwell killed Birchmore on the 1st. Her body was discovered on the 4th, and she was the age of 23 and she was pregnant. Now, I was able to find, and you guys might be aware of this if you guys have been following this case. I'm fairly new to it. So I did find uh, Robert Devine's decertification hearing. So basically, where they go through, and what struck me, because I kind of watched reviews of it, since it's a fairly long, I mean, it's a two-parter,
Yeah.
uh, was constant accusations coming from Robert Devine that Sandra Birchmore was a liar. She was a known floozy, to use nicer
She did
words.
this over a 10-piece chicken wings.
You heard it, didn't you? I know you heard it because you hid your face. I nobody else heard that but you.
Oh.
That's the best part about it. All right.
Well,
She
but now
did this over a 10-piece chicken wings. Breast or thigh? She did this over a 10-piece chicken wings. Breast or thigh? She did this over a
Oh, no.
I couldn't help it, Mo. I'm sorry. I'm so
Oh,
bad.
no, that's hilarious. Now
I'm gonna update that and make it better. Yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So in September 2022, the police department released their internal affairs investigation, and it concluded that Matthew Farwell violated department policies, William Farwell violated department policies, and Robert Devine violated department policies. Now, these findings are administrative and not criminal. And I do wonder if they will be going back to that, because at what level when you are a police officer, there is a sort of higher level of duty of care that you have. So I don't
Because
understand.
a lot of it has to do with being not only a government official, but also, being representative of your community. And I can sort of give an example here. If you look at like old teacher handbooks, for example, and we're talking old, like you had the schoolhouse that taught all grades. Those school teachers were expected to be almost like nuns. No outside relationships. They basically, they were this sort of an idol of something to look up to. They didn't screw around with a whole bunch of people. They usually were single, and usually they were very knowledgeable in all subjects, not just like English teacher. Because they were teaching all different grades.
Yeah.
And so they had very, very high standards because they didn't want they wanted their kids to see this as somebody that was a teacher, like some sort of separate entity, the way that, cops should be viewed in that way. They're a separate entity, that they're impartial to what's going on. They're only there to respond to an action that is happened or is currently happening. For example, officer, it gives a sense of authority
Yeah, and this
over that.
person also has the ability and the sanction by all of us, because they police by consent. So we have given them the authority to be able to take someone's life and someone's freedom.
Yes,
So they have to be held to a higher standard.
absolutely. And, I'm not saying that they're supposed to be angels or anything like that. You know, cops will have their flaws as humans have their flaws. But, you know, you've got to hold yourself to that higher standard. It's the difference between somebody that's been in the military and somebody that does not understand what it's about. You know, you can respect the veterans for what they've done, but unless you've actually served in the military, it's sort of like it's appreciated, but you don't quite get it, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense, you know?
No, that it does, and there's so many things like that. Now, in August of 2024, federal prosecutors, which I need to look at it, but if this is a federal case, then we are going to be relying on people, that are going to be in the courtroom because it's not going to be, videoed, and it will be interesting to see who they earmark as a prosecutor, whether they go with a female or a male, because I do feel like with certain cases, and especially this case, it might be strategic, um, to
It
have
could be.
a
Abs
female, helming it. Not that I'm really a fan of the gender politics, but I understand the strategic use of them.
Yes. Yeah, and that is probably one of the things that we've seen in a lot of these cases. I
So
mean, I don't think it would have mattered if, for example, on Darrell Brooks. I don't think that would have mattered whether they had a male or a female prosecutor. It just happened to be that they had 2 female prosecutors in that. And they also had a male that was there. So they had 3 prosecutors, you know, because
yeah.
there was so much going on with that case.
Yeah, and that's one of the ones that such a hard case, but I have continued, in the years since I've watched cases, how well the state put that whole trial together, so only the adults were called. So, because I think it was really shocking for even those of us who had watched the trials, seen, snippets of videos, and then to realize how horrifically people were injured because the state did such a good job at not bringing in, heartstring and things
No.
like that. They were very professional, the demonstratives were great, and
Yeah.
I
I
don't think
mean,
you would have seen that with a younger prosecutor, so I really liked
no.
the team that was there.
I was so satisfied with them, and I mean, their patience was you could tell it was wearing them thin on the crap that he was doing, but just their ability to, you know, these are the facts. This is where he got into his vehicle. This is where he drove through the barricades, and this is where he accelerated and actually started swerving in towards people. Because I remember whenever I first saw that video, and you know, it was something that like hit the internet, like this just happened. I was like, is is that real? Like, nobody
Y
does this kind of thing. Like, was that a
well,
cop
yeah.
chasing after somebody? I
Well,
mean,
and that's
it
what we kind of assumed. We assumed maybe there was like a cop chase and then, because
I
that's kind of what I
and
was
I didn't even
thinking.
realize anybody was injured at the time or the level of damage that he did. And I couldn't have told you whether what color the person was, what their political beliefs were. All I saw was a red truck hauling ass down a parade route, but I never saw they never showed that he had hit anybody. Just that he
Yeah.
had gone down through the parade route and people were injured. That's all that I heard. And I was like, yeah, whoever that was, they were going way too fast. I don't know what the hell happened. Was this, you know, because this was right on the tails of Rittenhouse. I mean, it was like, was it something that spurred on? I mean, what in the hell is going on? And it was once things started coming out, you know, and then I also saw where he showed up at the guy's door. I was like, oh, this looks like some homeless guy. So some homeless dude like did this and then tried to hide in somebody's house. I mean, it wasn't making a whole lot of sense. And then once you
No.
got the facts out there and actually followed the case, you're like, oh, this wasn't just some homeless guy. This guy has like serious mental issues. Like,
Yeah, it was sad because you were hoping that there was some sort of reason behind all of it that made any sort of sense, and he was just mad at his, victim girlfriend.
Yeah, and just snapped. Like, people like that, you don't want driving a vehicle.
No.
Hopefully not. Like, we're talking beyond road rage. All right, let me go ahead and pull this thing up for you guys so we can sort of delve into this a little bit. And anytime you need me to pause, Mo, you tell me
Okey-dokey.
to pause. Chat, hit those thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you want to take that little extra step, you're always welcome to, throw a little bit change this way. It goes a lot to support the channel. It keeps us being able to do this kind of stuff. Tomorrow we will be over on Moe's,
Yes.
and we're going to have we're going to be talking about some pretty interesting stuff on Moe's. We'll talk about that later.
I was like, "We are?"
Yes. As always, we always talk about interesting stuff on
Yes.
your channel. All right. I hope Brooks is being passed around like a little doobie at a Willie Nelson concert.
I mean, chill and gross all at the same time.
Yeah.
He has repeated internal affairs
Okay. Audio needs to come up on this.
complaints that were sustained throughout his career. Under the statutes, it's allowed that these be for the same or different offenses. Ultimately, if the division proves its case and if any discipline to the respondent would be discretionary. According to the statutes, if the division proves that the respondent engaged in this conduct, the commission may suspend or decertify the respondent. The division will be recommending that the commission decertify Robert Devine and add him to the National Decertification Index as a result of this decertification. The division is confident that the evidence will show that decertification is the only appropriate remedy here. Mr. Devine has a pattern of untruthfulness, abuse of power, and unprofessional conduct during his time as an officer. And given the gravity of misconduct, it's likely that it would escalate. His personal affairs have affected his ability to work on several occasions and have undoubtedly reflected poorly on the police profession. To give a little background, as you'll hear today, Officer Devine was with the Stone Police Department for approximately 20 years. For the first 15 years or so, there was no discipline, and in fact, by all reports, Mr. Devine was very successful at the Stone Police Department. He rose from patrolman all the way to deputy chief, which, as you'll hear, is the second rank in command at the Stone Police Department. He was involved in several community projects, among which are the Police Explorers Program, which you may learn a little about, and a substance abuse program, which Mr.
Can
Devine
you
helped
pause,
found.
Shizzy?
However, his reputation changed dramatically in 2015.
Yes.
So again, even if she was 23 or 22,
Right.
he was still there when she was in the Explorers Club. He had to look. This is a small town, I'm guessing. People
Stoughton,
talk.
yeah.
People talk even if things are secret. People notice people go into people's apartments. People notice that kind of stuff. So, how much of an open secret? Again, I haven't gotten, but how much of an open secret were the Farwell brothers and Sandra?
Yeah, I mean, that does sort of raise that kind of question. I mean, it was enough that it probably didn't seem abnormal. As like, for example, he helped her move in. So, I mean, it wouldn't seem abnormal. It seemed like, he's trying to help out this girl, and, being civic or something of that sort. They never were out in public, together. Like she was basically a piece that he had whenever he wanted to meet up with her, they would meet up and do their thing, whatever it was. I don't think that they were like openly showing affection or anything like that.
No, and the fact that he has her under an alias, he knows that this is going to be seen in the worst light. He knows exactly what a fellow officer who is just looking at the bare facts would think about this.
Right. 2020 population was 29,000. That is pretty small. I mean, it's
Well,
it's
and
not
the
as
top
small as certain places, but, still.
yeah, but it's one, department. You're telling me that guys don't gossip just I mean,
No,
shifts have
guys
to be
really don't.
boring. Oh,
No, guys,
you just sit there staring at the wall.
no, we just don't see. A lot of women think that guys gossip because they do. Like
Fair
and I
point.
didn't even realize this. Like it was just talking with my wife. It was just like all the girls are sitting around, talking about their husbands and what they do to them and that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh my god, like I no, I don't
You
think
know
I've
what?
ever had that conversation with any of my friends
I
ever.
just realized guy gossip would be this. "Did you hear about Paul's wife?" "Yeah, what about her?" "I don't know." Or like, "Someone's wife is sick." "Oh, whose wife?" "I don't remember. I think Jerry or something."
Yeah, I mean that's guy gossip there.
Yeah.
But with girls for whatever reason, it's just like they're like talking, comparing sizes and positions and crap like that. I was like, "Are you serious?" And she was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Oh okay, if that's what they're doing, don't care." But sad and infuriating at the same time. I will donate the ammo. Yeah, underage. Sorry, we get derailed easily.
Yes.
And this is reflected in Exhibit 3, the Internal Affairs Investigative Report that's already in evidence. There were several sustained IA charges against Mr. Devine as a result of that investigation, among which are conflict of interest, abuse of position, conduct unbecoming, and untruthfulness.
Okay, and you got that right. So
Yes, conduct unbecoming, abusive position, and then untruthfulness.
yeah, that
Now,
go ahead.
um, the wrongful death lawsuit alleged that Devine, along with Matthew and William Farwell, participated in grooming, exploited their positions of authority, and contributed to years of exploitation. Now, those were made in civil litigation and they haven't resulted in criminal charges. So I need to be very clear about that. But those were allegations that were made.
Okay, so the allegations were made, and has that case been resolved, or is that still
Let me,
ongoing? Because I mean, civil and criminal are two different things, and sometimes, and as we found out with Laura Owens, sometimes civil cases can turn criminal depending on the outcome or what's brought about in those cases. I was just curious if there was any resolution in that.
I'm reading through the timeline.
Who's McGoose? You're absolutely correct. Guy talk is mostly roasting each other and just fart jokes yeah, that pretty much. Oh,
Well, Farwell.
here, I'll continue on here.
Okay, so
Although I
September
won't
22nd is when the internal affairs, the wrongful death lawsuit, um, her estate filed it. All 3 denied it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that's probably still working its way through,
Yeah, civil courts
but
take
those
a
are the
while.
and those are allegations made in civil court, and there's a lower bar of evidence in that. So keep in mind that, when you're watching true crime stuff and things that are covering this, there is a different legal standard when it comes to the criminal trial. So some stuff that you hear in podcast and maybe in the criminal or in the civil trial can't come in to a criminal trial.
Correct. Correct. Unless it's like, there's certain things that can though too. So just keep that in mind.
And they might be waiting for the results of the criminal trial, kind of like in the Karen Reed.
That's a big possibility. Like, and if they lose on the, and that's sort of what happened with OJ also, is he won in criminal court and lost big in civil court. They found him undeniably guilty in civil court of of the uh, of the death of his wife at the time.
And
And
Ron Goldman,
yeah, and
which
Ron.
and then they went after the proceeds of the If I Done It book. Oh, dear Lord.
Oh God, yeah.
I swear to God, why didn't OJ have a YouTube? Like, of the lowest locale of locales, I mean, to write the book after you essentially are the luckiest person in jurisprudence. Look, I might have been the only 12-year-old that was like, "How the hell did that happen? He's guilty as sin."
No, I don't think you were the only one that was saying that.
Well, no, at 12, I was the only one in my middle school who was pissed off he wasn't found guilty.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up, watching O.J. Simpson. I grew up with, the Hertz commercial. I think it was a Hertz commercial where, he's running and jumping and all. I mean, like watching Airplane. I mean, I grew up with
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson. He was an icon. And then to hear how this stuff went about, I was just like, I don't know, man. Like, dude was like banging your wife. I can only imagine the rage that you felt at that point in time. So, but that he got off on it, I was like, nothing. Like, and that you would think that if he got off on this, that they would have, continued an investigation, went after somebody else at least, but there wasn't even that.
I think it was I think Mark Fuhrman was so devastating,
Yeah.
and the fact that people didn't understand the DNA. They got the worst possible person to try to explain it because he was so dry, boring, and analytical. He didn't explain, that
Well,
like, what the DNA was actually showing. It was all dry and like, "This allele is this allele," and
yeah, and of course you had Furman that was a little bit racist, and that didn't help out
just
a whole lot.
yeah, just a scotch.
Just a scotch.
Get too far into the details during the opening because the evidence speaks for itself. Essentially, when Mr. Devine, as is reflected in the report, was involved in an extramarital affair, it began to impact his professional career. There was a time at which when he tried to break off this affair that the other individual involved began to electronically harass him. And it got to the point that he thought that there should be some sort of police intervention. Unfortunately, as deputy chief, he had ordered one of his subordinates to investigate his own personal.
Oh.
And
Oh.
I'm thinking I'll have to go back and look at the emails of that you sent, because I believe that the name that was her pseudonym is the one that he said, "She's harassing me."
Well, and from what they were saying is that he did have relationship with her, but
Yes.
broke it off, and that's whenever she got a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on him. But
Well, and that's why I'm
where
thinking
he messed up is not going is he should have gone to internal affairs and had them investigate it. The fact that he got one of his subordinates to investigate it, that makes it seem a little sketchy, like, because
well,
it may have been that he was still promising her things, and he was just
yeah.
like, I really need to get her off my back, and if you investigate this, you can make up this story and
Well,
it'll help out.
also, what's to say she didn't use the same thing? "You don't stick with me, I'm gonna tell not only your job, your wife." I'm going to tell everyone. Everyone knows that you were the supervisor. I will come out with everything.
Yeah.
And so he can't be seen intimidating her, but if he sends deputies to say like, "You're harassing our chief," who are they going to believe? The police chief with no, citations on his records, or this, young woman who has a propensity to kind of tell fibs?
Yeah. I mean, but like I said, it would have been better if you just took it up with the internal affairs, right there and said, yeah, this is going to look bad on me. It's probably going to hurt my career, but this is the situation. And, you need to investigate this and get this taken care of, however it is. And, it's not going to look good for me in the end because, I'm still married, messing around with this chick but that's the consequences I'm going to have to pay. I mean, sometimes, you get somebody that actually is able to investigate it and truthfully investigate it. It may not make you look good, but geez, man.
Yeah,
Would you,
but I think, and this is what I mean about, like, the kind of gossip. Maybe it's not sat and talked about, but you're telling me that the chief didn't say that, son of a heifer, trying to ruin my life, he didn't have outbursts and it wasn't maybe general knowledge. And then,
right,
"Oh, isn't that chick that I sometimes see you go to her apartment?" Or, so
right.
not like, "I'm banging this chick for," but more like, "Huh, 2 and 2, a again,
The two
y'all
and
are
two,
cops."
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. They're cops. Divine, yeah, not the greatest person to be helping these guys out.
um, his own personal affairs. He even asked that individual to use the police department's resources to conduct a forensic analysis on his electronic devices. He further, again, with this conflict of interest and abuse of power, ordered this person to investigate where flowers had come from that were sent to his wife. And he even contacted a
The redacted. And so you will find some
even
redactions.
on the date where the state police were conducting a search warrant on the woman's home to collect her electronic devices and to arrest her, Mr. Devine received a call from her and spoke with her as the state police were at her door. He spoke with her on the night before. Despite the fact that he
Oh, that doesn't look good. Like, call her the night before and then send the state police over there because he was state police, and then sending them over there the next day because you would have had to get a warrant to do all that. So you knew this stuff was in place. Oh, that's crappy. That's crappy. That screams guilt right there. Like, yeah, maybe it wasn't all on the
yeah.
up and up.
It's also it is very interesting, and I wonder if they go back and look at things, if his clean record was as clean or if this is something he's done before, because this is very brazen. And I don't know that you get that sort of comfort and brazenness unless there've been little lapses in morals the entire time.
Right. And that's what it sounds to me like. There might have been quite a bit of little lapses, as Mo likes to
And
put it.
and I mean that euphemistically. Obviously, I don't find
Right.
any of these small, but
No. I'm just saying that as you so eloquently put it, small lapses in morals. That's a perfect example. It's just like, he was pretty loose with the law whenever it came to him, but
yeah, and I would think that the comfort to sit there and send your underlings wouldn't come, randomly. You would have gotten used to, like, sending them to get your dry cleaning, to go pick up beers or toilet paper or whatever. It would start with small little things like that and then write my reports and then other things. So I do wonder if his record was as clean as they stated it was in the early days.
maybe not.
had an ongoing not only contact but also sexual conduct with this woman for several weeks during the criminal investigation. Mr. Devine did not bring this to the attention of anyone involved. It eventually resulted in the arrest of this woman, and despite that he had this ongoing relationship and that he was a deputy chief, he allowed this woman to continue to. And there were several sustained findings as a result. Ultimately, the criminal case was dismissed after a few months. This resulted in the demotion to patrol officer from deputy chief and a 60-day suspension. On his return to duty,
I mean, at that point, just tell him you either retire or we're retiring you. Because at that point, he's lost community trust. And this is where police departments don't understand that when you have a breach of trust this big, you just need to get rid of this person and you need to do a thorough investigation to make sure there are no other bad apples, especially on a top level like this, because
No,
usually,
this was
you know,
whenever he was a patrolman.
no, so he went from deputy chief back down to patrolman.
But he still no, he let me rewind it because I'm pretty sure that they said something about this.
attention of anyone involved. It eventually resulted in the arrest of this woman, and despite that he had this ongoing relationship and that he was a deputy chief, he allowed this woman to continue to. And there were several sustained findings as a result. Ultimately, the criminal case was dismissed after a few months. This resulted.
Okay, you're right. You're right. I thought there was something prior to this also, while he was a
I don't
patrolman.
I don't know, but I would be interested to see. I'm gonna do some more research to see if he's connected. You know, small towns, you know, everyone's someone's cousin. So the fact that they made a comment about how quickly he rose in the ranks, um, I'm now skeptical as to how he did that.
Did you ever? And it's a little bit older, but did you ever see that movie Copland with
No.
Sylvester Stallone?
I haven't, but I tend not to watch, like, true crime like, I'll watch true
Well,
crime documentaries, but not, like, movies.
it,
If I'm gonna watch movies, they're either really dumb or really smart.
well, it wasn't really true crime. It was, and it was. I mean, Sylvester Stallone put on weight for it. Looked like just an aged out police officer, and basically his job was more like to be a security guard, um, because you know he couldn't really cut it in the ranks, but it was police officers living in this pretty secluded area, and he was sort of like more like a security guard for him. All these cops lived there, and most of the time they were cops that were moved there out of their position in like New York Police Department, for example, but they lived like in the suburbs kind of thing. And they were
Oh,
sort of
yeah.
removed from their positions whenever they would get in trouble for doing something bad. Like the bad apples were all congregating in one area and then continuing to do really bad shit. It's actually a really good movie.
I'll have to
It,
check it out. I
I mean, it's a little more. It's more of a dramatic role. It's not really an action flick. It's more of a dramatic role that he
I'll
played. But
have
it was
to check it out because usually I like Stallone. I haven't been watching movies lately. They just or new movies. Let me
well, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. No, I'll be quiet.
not nude movies.
I'll keep your secret. I'll keep your secret about what your husband likes to watch.
You can out him. He needs publicly shamed.
He's publicly shamed.
To
Her
be fair,
husband. Her husband, I'm going to out him right now. You sure it's
yes.
okay? Her husband, after he scrolls through whatever he wants to watch, he always ends up watching stuff like Twilight.
To annoy me. He knows it bothers me. He knows I hate that movie. He knows that he legitimately tries to trigger me. See, this is entrapment when I finally have my snapped episode, when he has finally put on New Moon for the 80 gajillionth time and I lose my mind because I see Kristen Stewart have no expression for 4 goddamn movies.
I love
Her
when
and
you told me that.
Zendaya.
When you told me that, I just, and every so often what I do, because I know it just drives my wife absolutely batty, I'll put up like some really bad rom-com. Like, and I don't even know the actors or the characters, but it's like as soon as I see romance comedy, I pull it up. My wife is like, "Oh God," and I do it just to annoy her.
Yeah, so I'll fight back with, like, you know, true crime stuff because he doesn't like to watch gore, and I'm like, It's just police," or I'll pull up the autopsy doctor.
James Francis
It's all
agrees.
fun and
Copland was a
games until
great movie.
someone has an autopsy.
Or what I do is I pull up like and watch like the final episode of Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, that would piss me off just because I don't know what's happening, it's too dark, and I don't care.
It's not dark. The final episode is just like, huh? Really? I mean, the ending is horrible to that. But anyhow,
Well, I
Is it
mean,
the
what can you
devotion?
expect when you try to date your, you know, girlfriend and
sister.
sister, cousin? I mean,
No,
there
sister.
George
Like,
R.R. Martin, feds, forget about him finishing the final book, that'll never happen. Someone needs to look at him. There is a lot of brother, sister, cousin love in those books, and as far as I can tell from his accent, he's not from the South. We need to check on him, okay?
do you think he's from Utah? Just inquiring minds want to know.
I'm just
My
saying.
husband sit down and watch any film. Some have been absolutely awful. Yeah. Now I will tell you that I've done this before where I will start watching a movie with my wife and like 15, 20 minutes into it, I'm like, no. And my wife will do the same thing. See, we actually read off of each other really well and we know what each other likes. And, like I said, I'll put on a rom-com just because I know that it'll piss her off, but it's not like it's bad or anything. Like
Okay,
it'll
Shizzy,
use
in my defense, every night it is this. He comes down. We have 2 or 3 shows that we agree on, 2 or 3. Every night it's this ritual. 20 minutes of clicking through shows on Netflix, on YouTube, on Hulu, only to stop at Twilight. And I am like, "You know what?
one of these nights you're gonna wish you were a vampire. Because I'm about to turn into a werewolf.
I'm gonna decoupage him full of glitter."
You
Leave him
should,
in a
you should do that. You should do that for Halloween next year. Just say we're gonna do your outfit and like get him like the nice suit.
Do you think
And
Captain
then
Have Fun would know where I could get a nude body glitter sock?
oh God. I bet he would.
Hey,
Bet he
that's
would.
what I'm worried that he would. That's
Yeah. Don't
if
worry,
anyone would know.
his wife, or should I say his Chinese slave will make it for him.
Hey, $10 is $10, and I'm cheap.
Well,
It's
that's what
not
he said. That's what he said through all his career. $10 is $10. I'll do it for 20. Not saying it. Not saying it. Stop it.
To patrol officer from deputy chief and a 60-day suspension. On his return to duty, he was assigned to the desk for a long period of time, but he was eventually allowed to go back on patrol. Although there was a slight incident involving one of his children, leaving a note to, at that time, Deputy Chief Holmes. Other than that small minor incident, Mr. Devine for the next few years did not have any instances of discipline.
Well, and that makes sense. I mean, so at some point in time, there was like a minor incident with his child, and that could have been something as simple as the child was speeding or did something,
Yeah.
like vandalism, minor, and it wasn't major enough that they even brought it up. I don't think there was anything untoward going on with child. Let's put it that way, or else they probably would have focused in on it more. They said
Or
minor
they would
incident
have
with
redacted if it had been anything of, any kind of connotation. I think that the fact that they didn't go criminal is alarming, but I think they would have redacted. I don't think that they would have had any of this,
Right.
streamed to the public at all, and they would have used the white noise machine.
No, I haven't. I haven't heard that, Huntsville. I absolutely have not heard that. What is that? Hey, Shizzy, have you heard the World Cup meme? The hats on Miku World Cup. Miku. I don't know. Maybe I'm not reading that right.
I'm over here trying to phonetically do it in my head, and then I'm realizing that I can't spell.
Oh, neither can I.
I failed phonics. I was like phonetics.
Still has not watched Project Hail Mary. I don't know what
That
that
is
is either.
that it's actually good.
What is it?
So it's Ryan Gosling, and as much as he irritates me, I still haven't forgiven him for The Notebook. It's actually really good, although I think that the real hero of the movie is Rocky the puppet. He was my favorite character, so
Okay. Well, and
basically, astronaut goes out, the sun is dying, he's sent on a schmooishmide mission to figure
okay.
out why this particular sun of all the ones near to us isn't dying. He ends up meeting a rock alien spider monster, thing that turns out to be friendly, if not a little autistic, but awesome.
I'll have to
And
write that down and check it out. Project Hail Mary.
and so basically, these 2 different civilizations have gone on a similar mission to figure out why this star among all of them, hasn't been affected by these MacGuffin particles. So, I will say it's really good because it doesn't crap out on the science like a lot of movies. Now, it doesn't get so deep that it's so esoteric that you're like, "Okay, if I carry the 1 and minus the 3."
Yeah, it's not like you're talking to Hawkins or something like that, but it's
Basically,
also
it treats the audience like they have a brain, and it doesn't spell everything out with exposition dump.
right.
So, pretty good.
Good.
And it's
I like
hopeful
those a little bit better.
and and, you know, flawed but courageous. So, it has a good message that, it doesn't, shit on the protagonist as much as typical Hollywood movies do.
Right. Right. We're going to have to see it again tomorrow. Yeah, Rocky was awesome. Yeah. For what it
However,
was.
what ultimately led us to this hearing is that, again, in 2020, Mr. Devine allowed his personal life to get in the way of his professional life, and that's through his involvement with SB.
Okay, so that was twice. It wasn't he had 2 separate affairs.
And he probably, again, lied about, "This is why you don't have affairs. Listen to me, men. Us women, eh look, even if we look you dead in the eyes and say, 'No strings attached,' biologically, we don't work that way. Smex equals feelings for us, and
Uh,
feelings equal boiled bunnies sometimes. So, choose wisely where you put your schmeckle."
yeah. Yeah, and it's and I will joke about stuff like that, but there's no like, there's a line that you have to draw. And, that is one that he crossed multiple times.
As the court undoubtedly knows at this point, on February 1st of 2021, as is alleged in the federal indictment, SB died, and allegedly it was due to being murdered by Matthew Farwell, who was a Stoughton police detective at the time of the alleged murder. At that time, as you'll hear through the evidence today, the Stoughton Police Department, within a few days, was contacted by the state police because the state police had learned of SB's involvement with Matthew Farwell. They almost immediately initiated an internal affairs investigation of Matthew Farwell, and Deputy Chief Holmes, who you'll hear today, was assigned. The initial scope of the internal affairs investigation was only to cover Matthew Farwell's misconduct. It was not until several months later that it was alleged that multiple other Stoughton Police Department officers were involved in sexual misconduct with SB. Ultimately,
that raises some questions right there. So it was, and that's what they're talking about. The allegations initially were just Farwell, but it appears that there were three officers that might have been hooking up with her.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of wondering because I kept seeing Robert Devine pop up and I couldn't, from everything else try to figure out. So I thought it would be good to hear or watch the hearing. But it's looking like, and again, I wouldn't be shocked if there are possibly more victims from this Explorers Club. It just seems, again, very ballsy to have three people with one girl. And
Yeah.
if this behavior was tolerated with one girl, I don't see it stopping there.
Well, that also, well, and as far as Sandra Birchmore goes, it makes me wonder if, and I was reading something, I can't confirm this, but I believe that they found that the baby was not his.
I believe so. I am looking to see.
Like the DNA evidence didn't match up to him, which would eliminate both him and his brother. Does that make sense?
It would eliminate both him and his brother as fathers of the children. If they didn't know they weren't fathers, it doesn't eliminate their motive, along with Devine.
Agreed. It doesn't eliminate their motive, but it would eliminate that it was either of those two. Even if they got it off one brother, they could have said, hey, it matches up, but it's not him, kind of thing. That's how they would have presented it. But
And I do wonder who the father is going to be and if it's going to be another unbalanced relationship that she was in.
The police officer, I mean, is
Yeah,
it Divine? I mean, I don't know if he ever submitted DNA for this.
Again, if it were Divine, I would imagine there would be some sort of criminal charges or some more things that would be coming up. I'm guessing they wouldn't, because I'll have to look at.
Other words, they haven't disclosed who it is.
Yeah, and that's pretty normal. A lot of times the autopsy reports, like the autopsy and medical examiner reports for the Idaho 4 are just now coming out, within the last month. So I wouldn't expect any of this information to really get out until the trial.
Right. But I mean, and you could say, well, that could be possibly motive, but the thing is what they run into is they've already reviewed the videotape, and he was the last one to be there. Like, and I would say that defense would have already put out there, like, yeah, he wasn't the only one.
Now, I will say
there was other people that came in this period of time, whether it was a self deletion or whether it was that he was involved in this. You would think that they would have shown, well, we're also looking at this other suspect here, and that's why we haven't, moved on him. Like that would be reasonable to say, I would think.
now, so the change in the, manner of death was actually precipitated by Michael Baden. So he was a different pathologist, who was retained by the Birchmore estate, and his, look at the body said that she was a victim of homicide by strangulation. Now, then William Smock was retained by the federal investigators, and also concluded that she died from strangulation and that the scene had been staged. So it
Okay.
doesn't go into, what they found that gave them those ideas, but it does name who made the findings contrary to the first findings,
Well, because
and that they
I know that the initial findings is what the Birchmores were trying to pull up, which is always a really difficult thing whenever you have to get somebody on the outside to come in, because they basically end up being a paid expert that,
Yes.
and you're disputing somebody that's probably been in their field for quite some time. And so that's a tough hill to climb up. I mean, even if they, even if they use these experts evidence, it's going to be a tough hill for them, because it's just going to be like, it was the Birchmores that hired you. Of course they would have something to gain by,
Yeah.
them not saying that it was a self-deletion. They would have something to gain from this.
Yeah, and so I think the fact that it was, then also, found, because that's the real part of forensic science and why ballistics and, blood spatter and some other things have been sort of downgraded, because they're not replicable, but you should, if you have 2 correctly trained forensic pathologists, have them come to a similar differential diagnosis and analysis of the scene.
Right. Well,
After the IA investigation, and we'll go through some of the evidence later, it was determined that Mr. Devine was in contact with SD through an alias in Facebook Messenger, and the alias is Marty Riggs, a character in a Lethal Weapon movie, which is a police action movie.
yeah, from the movie Lethal Weapon. That's the name he was using. Art
my
Briggs.
What?
Why?
Marty Riggs had been communicating with the SD in the months preceding her death, and as alleged by the U.S. Attorney's Office, even contacted her on the date of her death on the same afternoon. Based on the contents and the context of these messages, the evidence reflects that Mr. Devine is in fact the alias Marty Riggs. As you'll see in Exhibit 8, which is a screen
John
capture
Connor
of the
taken?
cell phone data that
What was that?
Was John Connor taken? Was Max Powerhead,
Max Headroom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just what the good lord.
Marty Briggs.
At least it wasn't Marty McFly. I will have to give him that.
Well, I mean, that would have been better.
He should have gone with Biff, because boy is he dumb.
Yeah.
For a cop, you seem not to be able to cover up your crimes.
Yeah. Turtle Boy would have pinned on Trump as the perp. Possibly, Valor. Possibly. Oh, God.
was extracted from SB's cell phone. Plain as day,
I don't know why.
that alone should be enough to show that Marty Riggs is Robert Devine. However, based on several of the content of these messages, as you'll see, as is included in the IA report and the exhibits already admitted at this hearing, there are several indicators that Mr. Devine is in fact Marty Riggs, the most important of which is on the date he is admitted, as is reflected in exhibit.
He did what? That's what I want to know. Like, I wonder if this kind of stuff ends up ruining the case. Like, I want to
Well,
know what.
I'm wondering if these are things because I'm guessing the feds are leaning on people. So my guess is that these are things that he will maybe turn state's evidence in order to save his behind or federal evidence. So I do wonder if these are things that they're trying to keep, under their sleeves because they're very important for the trial.
Yeah, but you
They're
would still have access to what was being said in the transcripts.
It might have been just names or certain things or
Maybe.
the worrying part is that and I understand the need for redactions, but because of the subject matter, there is the not altogether illogical conclusion that when they are redacting something, it might have to do with a minor. And,
But there's no
because
minors in this.
no, I just like I said, I do wonder if there is a contemporaneous still an investigation going on as to how far this went,
Right.
that they don't wanna jeopardize.
Well, and if there is some shady stuff going on inside of that department or any part of it, then they absolutely need to be that this stuff needs to be brought to light, because that just ruins it can ruin the faith in your whole police force, even if somebody's not involved in it, and I'll put it like this. If you've got a whole department of police officers and you get 5 or 6 police officers that, have different partners, different, they interact, but they sort of get together and do some really bad crap. Whenever it gets found out that they did that really bad crap, people are looking at their partner that was never even involved in this because they're a stand-up guy and they didn't want to involve them. But all of a sudden people are looking at them, well, how did you not know that they were doing bad behavior? And if you've got 5 or 6, that's half your police force right there, including
Yeah,
their chief. And I mean, it just
I I would imagine that for the Stoughton police to regain public trust, you'd almost need to clear house completely. You would need to have almost like an Elliot Ness come in and and I don't know where you would find that if the community would be amenable to that because there is kind of this, tendency in New England politics to, "Look, he's a corrupt son of a bitch, but he's the son of a bitch we know." So,
right. We'll just keep them there. You know,
yeah.
it's like at least we know at least he's an honest, corrupt son of a bitch, and he's he may be bad in all the ways, but he's still making us money, you know.
Yeah, and it's not just New England, I mean, this tends to happen in small
Yeah.
towns, but people do tend to get even if they're terrible, even if they're bad, we know this person, we know what to expect, they suck, but we know what kind of suck they are.
Yes. And Fowler says, Heather, I listened to Turtle Boy spew out some nonsense saying the feds dropped the case and Trump to blame. Made a video correcting this as he said on Megan's live stream. Yeah. And I mean, everybody can agree or disagree. Aaron, at least you popped into chat. Now it counts for Shizzy. Thank you very much, Aaron. I appreciate it. We always do appreciate the views over here. And
Yes.
if you like what we're doing, you're always welcome to hit that thumbs up. If you don't like what we're doing, you can hit the thumbs down. It works both ways, unless you've got it disabled. Some people have it disabled. I don't think I have
Yeah.
mine disabled because I enjoy the interaction. If you want to take it a step further, you could always donate to the channel. We do accept, super chats. We also have Cash App and all the kinds of stuff like
All of
Ko-Fi,
the apps.
all the apps. Now I will say that I don't open up Ko-Fi all the time or Ko-fi. It's buy me a coffee. I don't open that up all the time. So if you're looking to, to get rid of, your hard-earned cash and throw it at me to keep this channel running, it will always be appreciated. I guarantee it. Shizzy gets credit. Better late than never is as the saying goes. True.
Yes.
True.
In Exhibit 5 that's already in evidence, that is in fact his date as is recorded on the BBO website. The fact of his sexual relationship with SB is not enough to amount to
BBL or
division.
BBW?
BBL? No, it could be BBL. Want me to rewind it a little bit?
Well, I was thinking, I was like, what kind of website is he on? He's got some weird fetish.
Gay misconduct.
Already admitted at this hearing. There are several indicators that Mr. Devine is in fact Marty Riggs, the most important of which is on the date he is admitted, as is reflected in Exhibit in Exhibit 5 that's already in evidence, that is in fact his date as is recorded on the BBO website.
BBO.
The fact of his sexual relationship with SB is not enough to amount to case misconduct. The division admits that.
Gay misconduct.
To the division's knowledge, those sexual interactions occurred when Mr. Devine was an adult, when SB was an adult. Although it is questionable that he developed a sexual relationship with somebody that he met as a teenager and was a mentor to as a teenager, that alone, when they're two consenting adults, is not enough to amount to misconduct. However, the issue of misconduct comes to a head when you recognize some of the content of these messages. SB met him for a sexual.
It comes to head whenever you squeeze it like a blackhead, you know, it just, sorry.
Phrasing, I know.
Like, come
It's
on,
a good
guys.
thing none of us were there in the hearing, because we'd been like, phrasing, Your Honor, phrasing.
And they would look at us.
They're laughing at us.
Yes.
Encounter, as is reflected in the messages while he's on duty on one occasion. He arranged for that sexual encounter and also engaged in the sexual encounter while on duty, and that's reflected in the messages.
Oh, geez.
Additionally, when confronted in the internal affairs investigation interview, Mr. Devine claims that he never had any electronic contact with SB and that he never had any sexual contact with SB. The division's position is that the evidence.
And whenever you see SD or FB, it's just because they're having a hard time cleaning up the language on it. What they're talking about is Sandra Birchmore is what they're talking about. So that's what they're saying. The division's positions of the evidence
Overwhelmingly supports that these statements are untrue. Now,
so he did.
The 2021 IA investigation resulted in multiple sustained findings as well. Incompetence due to these messages and the sexual conduct while on duty. Untruthfulness about the extent of his relationship with SB, and attention and devotion to duty, again, due to the messages and sexual conduct while on duty. As the division will submit at the conclusion of this hearing, the sustained IA findings in 2015 and in 2021 amount to repeated internal affairs complaints for the same, or sustained internal affairs complaints for the same, for different offenses, and his conduct both throughout the 2015 investigation and the 2020 and 2021 investigation that amount to a pattern of unprofessional police conduct that may escalate.
Well, and you know, I want to say that this is why it's really bad in some aspects. And okay, I had a friend. Well, I still have a friend that you know we sat down. We started talking about his time as a state trooper. Okay, and it wasn't for the state of Georgia, so don't bother. And he was talking about how, as state troopers, they did actually conduct stings. He was an armorer for his unit, so you know he knew quite a bit of the people involved in all of this. When they conducted a sting, one of the judges for their area was caught up in the sting of buying, distributing, using cocaine.
Yikes.
one of the judges that hears some of their cases. He got called in to his chief's, his commanding officer's office to have a sit down talk, because they were going to turn all this over, make sure that this justice of the peace, this judge, was going to be prosecuted. And the commanding officer is saying, you need to forget about this. We need to let this go. The reason why they wanted to let it go, which is why he ended up leaving that department. He left and retired at that point in time because he couldn't abide by this kind of behavior. Like his outlook on it was, if the guy did wrong, he needs to be held accountable for doing
Yeah.
wrong. He is expected a higher standard, but their reasoning behind it, which I understand, is that if this judge was removed because of it, the amount of criminals, like violent criminals, that would be released because of this happening.
Yeah, that
And
has to stick in your craw, though, as a police officer.
right. But then you have to go, well, that is the law. You want to, if you've got a judge that's doing bad things on the bench, maybe he's one of the greatest judges on the bench and he's helping out your case. But if he's doing bad things, what's to say that he isn't having bad decisions going on with this?
Yeah, especially if he's using his own product, allegedly. I mean,
and yeah, that's it becomes a big issue. Like,
yeah, and it becomes a bigger issue if it comes out that you are aware of it and let it go on.
right. And I was just like, so, I mean, what did you do? He was like, I retired. I'm just like, like, how do you deal with that? Because, the thing is, if this judge continues on the way that he's going, that he's just going to ruin more cases for you. But also you've got some pretty baddies that he's already, hearing their cases, and all that should be overturned. And that these guys are bad people.
Yeah.
Some of them maybe not, but there's at least 4 or 5 in there. So do you let one judge go down and these possible, we're talking about like possible kidnapping, perpetrators of, the sexual kind for young children go free because of this judge? Do you let the guy that deleted 3 people go free because of this judge? I mean,
Yeah.
or do you take down the judge on a drug charge, have him removed from the bench, or do you let him continue on? I mean, that's like, I mean, the law is a law, but damn, do you let
Yeah,
these guys go free
it's a
because of,
real catch-22 because, and fair on the defense attorneys, if there is a possibility that your client's rights were, infringed upon, they have every right to, go in there and appeal the decisions.
right?
So, yeah, you can't do that because eventually these things will come to light. And
Yeah,
and the cover up is always worse. The cover up is always worse. It leads to more problems. It
takes down
leads
more people,
Yeah.
loses more trust. I mean, that's what I'm saying is like, and I did like Mo will tell you, I did not follow the Karen Reed trial, the first or the second one, and you were there for both of those, right?
Yeah, it was a weird trial. I mainly because I kind of came in, the first time, like, the second week into the Karen Reed trial, knowing nothing about it, and I remember being all at sea and wondering if we were ever going to get possibly to the guy who had lost his life, because we were about 2 weeks into, "Was there snow?" And I was like, "Are we ever going to get to the guy she allegedly ran over?"
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and it seemed to me like there was some shenanigans going on, like, throughout. I didn't understand why they did not continue on with it in the first place. I mean, I don't understand why they continued on after there was a mistrial. Like, clearly there was some big issues going on there on their part.
well, and that does make me wonder if there is more to the theory, and again, this has always been more internet speculation that, the O'Keefe, you know, incident or homicide was more closely related to the Sandra Birchmore case, because there have been speculation, and again, I don't know, not being the kind of compendium of Karen Reed knowledge, um, there have been allegations from the start that, uh, John O'Keefe was looking into, as part of the, you know, district attorney's office, the Sandra Birchmore case, because there's crossover. um, the Cellbrite guy is the one that missed all of the, incriminating emails for a long time.
Right. Yeah.
So, I this the more we get into this, the more that, and it's an extraordinary claim, so it would need extraordinary evidence, but it's becoming more plausible. It doesn't mean that I totally buy into it, but I'm generally a skeptic, and it takes a lot to get me from, to, "Okay, it's plausible. I'd
Right.
be willing to listen to information."
All right, I've got to do a little ad read here for you guys. You can blank out your screen if you want to, so you don't have to be on screen. And it might help out. Here we go. So this one here, I do these every so often. It helps out, especially if I'm not getting the super chat stuff there. We've got this one right here. Access Med is powered by Trivona Health, and it's a revolutionary telehealth service that offers fast, free online evaluations, free home delivery, and customized compounded medications, offering custom weight loss support, ivermectin therapy, hair restoration, cosmetic rejuvenation, custom electrical distortion. Oh, no, it's ED treatments, like for being a little limp. You can complete your visit in less than 10 minutes, and there's no subscription or recurring fees ever. You've made getting started easier than ever. Simply follow the link, choose the product or treatment you're interested in, and then complete a quick online evaluation. Within days, your custom meds will arrive to your door. Mention Rumble in your coupon code to get 10% off your first treatment. Well, and I normally wouldn't have to do those ad reads, but I gotta keep the lights on somehow, folks.
Yes.
Rumble requires an ad read. Actually, Rumble does not require an ad read. I do the ad reads because, there's bills got to get paid.
Yeah.
Mama needs some new
We
new
we can't all be Jolene.
no, we can't. No.
But she's hilarious.
I know. And then see what I also find interesting, there's a lot of people that are just, ultra liberal, ultra conservative. She was like, I'm a total libtard and I'm proud to be a total libtard. And I'm happy with it. And I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm here to talk about what's going on in X, Y, or Z. And I admire her remarkably up so much for that, because she is
Yes.
true to what she believes and does. I also don't see her out there screaming and, trying to force her politics in people's face, which is beautiful.
Yes.
Which is in comparison to the what do you want to call her? The lol cow that, is out there trying to do all this kind of stuff. male vitality, like A. Jones. I'm fighting interdimensional demons. Help fund my bind of the burner pills. It kills me. I love it. I love it. All right, here we go. Back to this.
Throughout this hearing, I expect the respondent will make several claims that are not supported by the evidence. One of which is that the IA investigators were biased against him. When now Chief Holmes was assigned, it's true that at one point Mr. Devine and now Chief Holmes had a personal relationship, but in no way did that personal relationship detract from his ability to maintain this investigation and conduct this investigation. And
so it digs a little bit deeper. So Holmes had a personal relationship with him, but I don't think it was of the sexual. I think it was just
No,
that
I
they
think more friendship, but that would go to them possibly not digging as deep. So I don't understand how he's claiming that the case or the internal investigations kind of review was bias against him when they did have, a friendship. If anything, then that chief would recuse himself, I would think, and wouldn't be any part of an internals and I thought internal affairs was separated for this exact reason.
well, he sort of is. He's still going to be head of the internal affairs, but here's the thing: if you're being upfront with these kinds of things, and I will say that I've seen attorneys, for example, come into a case and say, here's the thing. I want everyone to know that I know this. We have a working relationship with the person that you're representing. Him and I are actually, we know each other personally. And I just want you to, it could be an expert witness, for example, say we have a working relationship. But my analysis is separated from that. But I have to let you know ahead of time that we have a working relationship. And
Yeah.
as long as you're upfront with this kind of thing, that can also be weighed in on it. And it could be detrimental, but it can also be helpful of saying, we have a
Well,
working relationship, but
and
here's
that's
the
the
thing.
kind of candor that you're supposed to give to internal affairs. You're supposed to
Right.
say, "Hey, my family and I barbecue," or, "Hey, we see each other outside of, work." And I'm guessing those are questions that are asked
Yeah. I
because,
mean, they could be part of the same swingers club. I don't know. I mean, what their personal relationship is, but being
I hope they pick better code names.
better than Marty Riggs.
Oh, for the love of I mean, at least he didn't say Toe Mater, although
Tomater.
when I'm remaking my fan fiction, he'll be Mater.
Tomater. Oh, you need what's that? Goose Magoo says, need to get a sponsor with a mail order bride to go with Shizzy's ED ad. Yes. Yes, that's
Rumble,
what we need.
get on it.
Do you think we could get a sponsor for mail order brides?
Think so, I just don't think they'd be the Timu of mail order
What's wrong with
brides.
the Temu mail order brides? I mean, just because she's missing a leg or an arm,
I
I
was about to
mean,
say, are 2 hands important to you? Like, she has 4 fingers. This
she,
is a bargain.
she has
Kelly
4
Blue
fingers.
Book, just kick the tires, she's okay.
She has 4 fingers, but her mouth works fine.
Just oh, good lord. The skits I'm making up in my head, as is.
As is.
People
Slightly
people
used.
in the background, in the workshop just, like, gluing on a boob and, like, a fake eye, like, "It'll be fine," like, just spray tanning,
Spray tanning. They're popping in a
putting
toy glass
Bondo
eye.
on, like, "Just buff it out, buff it out. It'll be fine. It'll be
It'll work out in the mix.
People are like, "Hey, we'd like to take a test drive." "Oh, yeah, no, no, we don't do that here."
Scratched and dented pile. I swear she only killed at least 2 people in her home country. It's okay.
That
She
Carfax
survived.
is a damn lie. She's not been in a major accident, only a couple minor ones.
Only a couple of
And
minor
how dare
ones.
you speak about her ex like that?
Oh my god. Oh, I'm picturing. Yeah, I need to get on the mail order brides. I'll what I could do is get them the prison bitches. Have you seen those?
No, it'd be weird though because my questions would be oddly specific, like amounts of laundry she can fold in a day. Like, it'd be really weird, like like, they'd be like, we are kind of flagging your account. Normally, we get weird sex questions. You keep asking a lot about laundry, but not in, like, a weird sexual way." It's like, "No, I legitimately second wife laundry." That's
Yeah, yeah. She doesn't even have to put out. All she has to do
I
is
know.
is
She is
is
free to go find her own love, just be back home to do the laundry. Essentially, I need an Alice from the Brady Bunch.
right, right.
And if she has an In with the Butcher, I mean,
Well,
we'll
you
talk
have to
about
understand.
swinging.
Well, she does have it in with the butcher, but that the butcher's not the guy that works at the meat shop. Just saying.
Damn it. I should have known when she drove up in a Subaru.
In fact, Mr. Devine was not even involved for the approximate first year of the investigation. And when he did become involved, there were already independent investigators who were helping now Chief Holmes out with the investigation. And those independent investigators were the ones who interviewed Mr. Devine. Additionally, all of
Okay, this makes more sense. So what he explained is there was independent investigators that he was overseeing them, but their questions, their answers, their interviews, he was basically like, I'm your boss, but you do what you need to do. Like I'm not going to stand in your way. You ask all the questions you need to ask. But like I said, candor is the biggest portion of it.
It Yeah, and that's the thing. It needs to you can't just you can't lie, especially when you're in a position of trust. That's kind of it. That's why it's so egregious when a lawyer is found to have lied because there are certain things that they can kind of bring on, presumption of their honor. There are certain things that we allow police officers to come into court and say with the presumption that they are honorable.
Yes. Why did that do that? I don't know why that did that. I didn't switch that over. It just automatically did.
I have
Um,
no idea. I'm trying to
what are you doing?
Oh, I think I found, tomorrow's subject matter
Ooh. Oh, see, this is gonna be good.
because, dear Lord,
I cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait to see it. Like you have to understand that a lot of times Mo and I we communicate like bat signals like, hey, I'm doing something. And then I go, okay, that works. This is gonna be good. All right, let's continue on here.
Chief Holmes's findings in the internal affairs investigation are founded in the evidence and founded in the documentary evidence. They're not based on his bias against Mr. Fine. They're based in the evidence, including those Marty Riggs messages. You'll also hear claims that his accounts were hacked and that
Okay, so they had a relationship, but it wasn't on best of terms, is what I understand. Okay, that makes sense.
this is the reason why this person, Marty Riggs, is claiming to be himself. He's claiming that it's somebody posing to be him, And in fact, in his written statement in Exhibit 7, he even makes claims so far as to claim that SB may be involved in this because she's out to get him to get back at his wife. These are outlandish claims, as
Okay.
Mr. Holmes.
Pause. Because now, again, the problem with conspiracies is most people realize that no one gives that much of a fuck about you. Like,
Yes.
also, have we not talked about not writing down our crimes? I mean, you would think a cop of all people wouldn't be like, you know what? They're not going to celebrate my phone. like,
Yeah.
like, you know what? I bet it's this Birchmore. Now, again, I haven't gotten deeply into this case. By all accounts and everything I've read about Miss Birchmore thus far, she doesn't seem like the person to be able to pull off a conspiracy, mainly because she wouldn't shut the fuck up about it.
Yes. That's what I'm gathering there also.
So nor does she seem like, again, as immature as she was, she doesn't seem like the mastermind type. Also, she isn't of the age where Marty Riggs would be a name that she would think up. She would think up something like Harry Styles or One Direction or BTK or S or whatever it is.
Steve better when she finds out I've also been sleeping with the dishwasher lady. I'm not sure she's gonna react.
You have to go up to the first bit. I used to bang my laundry lady. She got all pissy about being called the laundry woman and insisted on me calling her my wife. She got really pissed off when I confessed to her I was banging the babysitter too and kept yelling, I'm the same person. So when she finds out I've also been sleeping with the dishwasher lady, not sure how she's going to react.
I know. That's why I was laughing, because I saw the whole thing. I'm just like, Steve.
Well, that's why I figured I had to read it out, because otherwise it just looks like we're laughing hysterically at ourselves, which I do.
I do.
But people tend to look at you funny when just out of nowhere. And then you don't want to also explain in Walmart, like, no, I'm not laughing at myself. I'm listening to this really funny song, I Only Poop in Japan, right now in the produce aisle, which is kind of hysterical because, God has a sense of humor. It's also a really good song you should hear. It's from my friend Shizzy Wisnut. I'm pretty sure I don't remember. He's told me his real name, but I don't remember it. So his name is. I'm thinking Wiz is the middle name.
And Nut is the last name. He's a little nutty.
And usually by this time I realize that rather than helping myself out of any situation of social awkwardness, I have just made it deeper and have gotten myself closer to a 5150. So this is why I stay home.
This is why my wife doesn't let me out of my cage.
Pretty much. This is why Mr. Mo doesn't take me places.
Oh God, yes.
Correctly cites in his IA investigation, and that's because, just given the context, given the fact that these individuals, Marty Riggs and SB, were interacting over the phone, on video, meeting in
Shizzy, pause. Final point as to why Sandra Birchmore isn't the mastermind of this. She was born in 1991. She's not of an age where she would have watched Lethal Weapon and had that be some nickname that she would give an older dude.
Yeah, I mean, Lethal Weapon was what, 80s?
Yeah.
So I mean, she might have seen it, like if her
She might
dad
have seen
watched
the
it.
Chris Rock one.
Yeah, she might have seen Chris Rock, and like something from Bad Boys. She might have used one of those names.
Well, no, I think Lethal Weapon 4, the one where Danny Glover is like, at a level of Danny Glover doneness that I had never seen before, where he looks around and he's like, why the hell is Chris Rock in my movie? And why am I doing this?
Yes. Yes, that's pretty much it. Shizzy and Mo are hilarious. Love it when y'all crack each other up. We can't help it. We cannot
We
help it.
cannot help it because I tell Shizzy, because I didn't realize that everyone else didn't have, like, a Danny Glover level of doneness, scale to explain their emotional doneness of things, because it starts out with a very sweaty, Danny Glover from Predator 2 level of doneness where you still give a damn enough to be anxious, and it goes all the way up to, Lethal Weapon for "Why the fuck is Chris Rock in my movie?" Done.
Right? Yeah. Where it's just like this guy's he's like old enough barely to be my grandchild.
Yeah, pretty much he's like, "I am here for a paycheck, and they have me sitting on an exploding toilet. Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
This is
entertainment.
how I end my career. Wonderful. Just
Like,
great."
ah.
Thank God Red came. Or was that Danny Glover? Or is that
No,
no, that's
that was
Morgan Freeman.
that's Morgan
Sorry,
Freeman. Sorry, Morgan Freeman.
Freeman and Danny
Ah,
Glover.
well, I mean, mm, I'll say something about that later. Yeah.
Person. The fact that somebody is claiming to be Mr. Vine, who SB knew for several years, is outlandish. At the conclusion of the hearing, as I mentioned, we'll ask you to find that Mr. Vine has repeated sustained internal affairs complaints and a pattern of unprofessional police misconduct that may escalate, and the evidence will support a finding of those two charges, and also, as a result of the evidence and the severity of Mr. Vine's misconduct, the only just outcome here would be decertification. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We haven't even got into the findings yet. And would you believe that we did that in almost 2 hours? We got through 12 minutes.
I'm not felt like we got through an hour, to be honest.
Well, I mean, that's what happens with Mo and I. We end up like just talking about other things in the midst of it because, well,
Or giving more detail to it or stopping because it is nice to have a case where you maybe know a little bit more, but we're still learning things because of not, as being into kind of, Karen Reed thing. And it's really cool that chat, you guys, some of you are like awesome. Like you guys have Karen Reed like up here, all of this stuff. And I'm
right.
over here like, Jen McCabe looks like this. Yeah. That's
Oh,
what's in my head sometime. Okay, now.
well, and with Birchmore, there's a lot of the same police that are involved in this case as are Birchmore. And see, whenever I first heard about what was going on with Birchmore, and that's been in a couple years back, I looked into it because I think it was what 2023 that I is whenever he was indicted. And so I was sort of like looking at these kinds of things and just, I was like, what the hell's going on? Karen Reed wasn't even in the back of my mind. I wasn't even thinking about that tie. It wasn't until Emily C. Like she's got a website where she's
Oh,
covering
yeah.
quite a bit of the Karen Reed stuff and the other stuff in there, and Sandra Birchmore came pulling up in there, and I was just like, and Expert's the one that sent me the link. He was like, if you're looking to dig more into Karen Reed, which I'm really not interested in digging more into it, I think there's enough people covering that, that they're going to dig into it like crazy, like. But I saw the name. And I was like, that sounds really familiar. And then I went back and I pulled up what I had on it, and I was just like, what is the status of this case? Because it was something that I've been trying to keep up with and see if there's any new movement on it.
Yeah.
Mm,
Now, so I've been trying to find out because has been some conjecture, and we're more kind of CSI, not Saw, but some of the things that are coming out, that changed the kind of classification were physical evidence from the scene, so they're pretty vague about that. Details about a broken necklace found on her, along with evidence, so probably from the autopsy, that's consistent more with manual strangulation rather than whatever method they thought originally, because there are different mechanisms uh, to that in a self-applied way that would render different injuries.
Right. And then that's like I said, there's so much, and there's also a lot of information out there, a lot of misinformation, which it makes
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
difficult.
Well, and that's why it's I tend to wait for court documents and things like that because and not like in a moral self-righteous way, but I never wanna knowingly pass you guys stuff that isn't true
Right. You
just
know,
because, you know, like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Uh, as ridiculous as take stuff, especially with a victim like this, I don't wanna ever put out something that would lead you guys in the wrong direction or set you
right.
guys up to think, "Oh, this is gonna be a slam dunk," and then,
Yeah. I mean, like I said last night, I mean, some of the what I was reading in those emails almost makes it look like, there she was intimate with other people and other people could have motive. And, there is that possibility that he showed up, called it off. Other people that she'd spoken to had called it off. And, this was her of her own choosing. And but and that's what I'm saying is I want to see, more of the
well,
evidence and what
yeah,
actually is being talked about.
and I think that especially on ones where there's such a sympathetic victim, I always try extra double hard to make sure that I attempt to be I'm not on the jury, but I attempt to call balls and strikes. I let you guys know, you know, when I have a certain opinion. I don't ever tell you guys what to think, but I I do like to on cases where like the Athena Strand case, you know, before every stream it sounds ridiculous, but I kind of say, "Okay, today's a fresh day. Try to be objective-ish." And that would last about 5 minutes, usually with that defense. But I would attempt to, today's a new day. Let's, due process.
Yeah, let's go through the evidence. I mean,
Yeah,
and I watched Rittenhouse. It was Nick Rekieta that was
yeah.
streaming Rittenhouse. Whenever I was watching that, I honestly had no clue of what actually was going on. But it was just like, oh, I mean, because I heard about it because it was during all of the BLM kind of stuff. Antifa was really starting to pick up, and once I started like watching that, the explanations that Ricada was giving was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. That, you know, absolutely being straightforward with it, like, the bad things that he could have done, the things that he should have done that could have probably avoided this situation. He put himself into harm's way. For example, Ricada was very straightforward on that, pointing out things of, hindsight is always 2020. Like, how could you have avoided this situation? The day that he was out there scrubbing off the buildings,
Yeah.
and the fact that he got separated from his group for whatever reason, like all the little minor missteps. And the way that, but once you saw the actual timeline of what happened in those videos, you're like, "Oh my gosh." Like, it was just
Yeah.
a series of misfortunate places that he was, and this is what happened, and this is why it happened. You could see it happening in real time where you're just like, I mean, I don't know that he could have handled himself any better than he did.
Yeah, and I think Rekieta was kind of the great way to get into LawTube for me um, because it was a very disheartening experience to see, I'd always, if my life had been different, thought I could have been a lawyer. So I always had great respect for prosecutors because, you never think until you start watching trials, when you're just kind of a regular everyday normie, that prosecutors would go after a political case, would be so transparently, despicably dishonest in the way they presented a case,
Right.
uh, and it was kind of eye-opening and intriguing too. I mean, because objectively, Mr. Mo would come home mystified that I was still listening to, trial and then background and then cross-examination and then go to Bronca's channel and then listen to you know, he was
He's like,
like,
"What are
"You
you
are a
doing?"
weirdo." And I was like, "No, this is so interesting because this take, but this take," and he's like, "No, no, all of this is wrong."
Mo Escuela.
Yes.
Sorry, not sorry. Well, but Carl rid the planet of people who had it coming. Well, and in a sense, yes, and in a sense, no. I mean, here's the thing: it was their time to not be here anymore. Uh, these issues could have been avoided. Like every single one of those issues could have been avoided. The issues with that of him being in that position could have been avoided by him. The him having to react the way that he did. I mean, I was quite impressed that he was able to have such control over a long gun, being untrained to
It
nobody else got hurt except for the intended targets.
Yeah, and I think that would be one that it would be interesting to go back and watch kind of like the Rekieta coverage of it, um, because I will tell you and here's the other thing that I also keep in mind, again, not to be like a Jesus or Oprah person, but Rekieta and that stream and the way he covered it and made it entertaining came around right when I got hurt, right when I was forced for the first time in 12 years to sit down and not do anything. And, him being hilarious and himself and explaining things but not talking down to us, the chat, was one of those things that really helped during that time in my life. So, like I said, between, be objective, I always kind of remind myself that, you know, my stream might be one of those streams where someone's going through a not so great time in their life. And I always want to pay that forward
Yes.
because there have been a lot of content creators that, uh, you know, helped me out even if they didn't know or they didn't even know me, just kept me laughing on days that seemed like they were forever long, so
That's what we try to do. That's what we do try to keep it a little bit lighthearted, and we do appreciate all you fine people. I'm going to be sending you guys over to uh Tug, I believe is going on tonight, and I will be sending you guys over there. And if you're on the Rumble side, I'll be sending you over to Regator, just give me or to Umbrella. And I see that Nick is
Oh,
actually
no.
streaming tonight.
Failure to complete.
I know that he is streaming tonight. I'm sorry for that, Mo. I wasn't trying to do that.
Oh, no, that's fine.
And what I'll do is I will send you guys over there and make sure that
Oh, no, that's fine.
you guys are good to go. And I just have to raid the chat for that one. And that way, while it's ending, it'll send you guys over there. Let's see, /raid. There it is. And then I can do this. Now, the other day, whenever I tried doing this, for whatever reason, it didn't send anybody over, but I will make sure that it's in there this time. Everybody, have a wonderful evening. Tomorrow night, we're over on Moe's, and tomorrow
Yes.
morning, I will be starting up my usual time, 6 a.m. It's going to be interesting because people be crazy. People be crazy.
Oh, believe me, I just, is Mercury, is everything in retrograde? I mean,
My
at this
brain.
point, is Sagittarius in the house of crazy ass? I mean,
Sagittarius is the house of Venus or Uranus, one of the two. It's one of those planets.
is the timeline on Quaaludes, and why didn't they bring enough for the rest of the class?
They never do. They never do. They're awful. They're awful humans. Everybody, we'll see you guys very soon. Peace.
Oh, you thought I was done? Bless your heart, I just walked in. Then the shit show starts. Call me daddy, call me Papa Nut, call me the GOAT. I'm still living rent free, a master stroke. Shizzy Whiz Nut, feel it in the name. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, it's all the same. I'm living rent free in your brain. Bringing the fire, not easy to tame. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy has set the bar. I'm bigger than life, you're a burned out star. You say you're over me, I know that's a lie. You're my biggest fans, don't even deny. So grab some popcorn when daddy goes live, live, live. Call me daddy, daddy. Say it out loud. Y'all act shabby. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy. Then back we go. Call me daddy, daddy. Let's face the score. You hate that you love me, but you keep wanting more. You're like a dog chasing cars. You don't know why. But here you are barking while I touch the sky. Your comments are gold, such comedy gold. Who hurt you? Oh wait, it's me, I'm told. You keep tabs like an unpaid intern, taking notes while I'm out here working. Your whole timeline's a shrine. Ever notice I got a peace of mind? I drop one line and the whole room reacts. When daddy arrives, you might step back. Oh, Shizzy's washed up. Man, that joke got old. You hate that I'm winning, so I'm told. When I move, feel my slide, feel the shock when daddy goes live. Call me daddy. Say it out loud. Y'all act shabby. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy. Then back we go. Call me daddy. Let's face the score. You hate that you love me, but you keep wanting more. You're counting me out. Crossed off my name.